Welcome to The Explainer. Have you ever noticed how some people just have something about them? They walk into a room and draw people in without saying a word. Well, today we're diving into an idea that kind of flips the script on what we think attraction is all about. It suggests it's not about being the loudest person in the room, but about the power of a quiet, solid presence.
So let's start with a puzzle that you've probably seen play out a million times.
Yeah, this is the big question our source material really digs into. What is going on with these guys who seem to have this magnetic pull? They aren't trying to be the center of attention, but somehow they always are. What's the secret sauce here? And we're not talking about big, flashy gestures or being the life of the party. The source describes it more as a kind of embodied energy. It's this calm, centered vibe that just screams strength, all without saying a single word. It really is like a human magnet.
Okay, so where does this magnetic energy come from?
Well, before we get into what it is, the source is super clear about what it is not.
I think we've all kind of been sold this idea, right? That to get noticed, you've got to be loud. You have to have the best jokes, the loudest laugh. You got to command that spotlight. But what if that's completely backwards? Our source pretty much draws a line in the sand here. On one side, you have the loud man. He seems powerful, but a lot of the time, he might actually be compensating for feeling insecure. And on the other side, you've got the quiet man. His power isn't for show. It comes from a place of deep, unshakable confidence. And this quote just nails it, doesn't it? All that noise, that bravado, it's often just a mask. The source argues it's a way to cover up this fundamental fear of not being good enough. Okay, so this brings us to the absolute core idea of the source material. It's a total reframing of where real masculine power comes from. So what is this quiet masculine power? Well, it's not some trick you learn or a technique you practice. It's an internal state, a really deep self-assurance that just radiates outward. It's the energy of someone who is so comfortable in their own skin that they just don't need anyone else's approval. And that right there is the whole point. This internal energy is the thing that creates that magnetic effect we were talking about. It's about being, not doing. It's a presence that just speaks for itself. Now, here's what's really cool. The source doesn't just throw this idea out there. It actually builds a case for it, pulling evidence for this idea of quiet strength from 4 totally different areas. First up, let's look at the animal kingdom. Just picture a lion. Does he need to roar 24/7 to prove he's the king? No way. His power is in his stillness, in that calm, watchful gaze. That presence alone is enough to command respect. Okay, then there's the psychological angle. Think about it. True confidence is quiet. It's peaceful. It's not about trying to prove yourself. It's just being yourself. Someone with this kind of confidence is an amazing listener because they're not just waiting for their turn to talk. They stay cool in a crisis because their self-worth isn't on the line. And that kind of security, it's incredibly attractive. And of course, your body is talking long before your mouth opens. Slow, controlled movements, they signal you're not anxious or in a rush. A steady voice conveys authority, and direct eye contact shows you're engaged and you're not afraid. This is what experts call nonverbal dominance, and these little cues create a powerful vibe that people just can't ignore. And we see this everywhere in our culture, in our stories. I mean, think about James Bond. The man says very little, but his presence fills the entire room. Or what about Aragorn from Lord of the Rings? He's this reluctant king whose quiet strength literally inspires whole armies. These are our cultural icons of masculine power, and they are absolute masters of quiet presence. All right, so let's boil this all down. What's the bottom line? What's the one thing you should really walk away with from all this? The whole key is to shift your focus inward. Stop worrying so much about what you're going to say next and start thinking about who you are. Real, effortless attraction isn't about having the perfect pickup lines. It's about cultivating this quiet, powerful energy that comes from deep within. So how do you actually get this power? Well, the source gives us a bit of a roadmap. First, you master your physical presence. That means carrying yourself with purpose. Shoulders back, chin up, moving deliberately. It tells the world you're comfortable and in control. Second, become a master listener. When someone's talking to you, are you really listening or are you just waiting for a gap to jump in? Being truly present is rare and it's magnetic. And finally, you have to trust in the power of calm. And honestly, this is the hardest one. It means letting go of that need to get approval from everyone else and finding strength in your own self-assurance. Let your quiet confidence do all the talking. So, in the end, we're left with this really potent question to think about. What is the real difference between seeming powerful and actually being powerful? The source material we've looked at today suggests true strength isn't found in all the noise and the spectacle. It's found in the quiet, steady presence of someone who just knows their own worth. What do you think?